Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Josh coming to you with another episode of the Affiliate Marketing Show. Please be sure to like, follow, and subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest affiliate marketing news, tips, and trends. Once again, Josh from OfferVault.com, the industry's largest aggregator of all things affiliate marketing. Whether you're a newbie just getting started or an industry veteran looking to stay on top of what's going on, OfferVault.com has you covered. We also have Mr. Pay-Per-Call, Adam Young, as well as the industry legend, Harrison Gevirtz, and our special guest today, Denys Gonchar, founder and CEO of ADGENIX Media, a leading performance marketing company focused on generating high-quality leads, calls, and e-com for multiple verticals from multiple channel traffic sources. Denys, I'm going to throw it to you in a second, but I just got to say, everyone watching this show, we just got back from Affiliate Summit West in Las Vegas, and the amount of love that we got from all of you about this podcast was incredible. It was very fulfilling. We love you guys. We appreciate you. Thank you for being a consistent viewer and fan of the show. I didn't know you all
watched, so thank you.
Honestly, I was like, why do we even do this shit? I mean, so many people were like, you guys are awesome. You're doing a great thing for the space. And I was just really, it was very fulfilling to hear that, and warmed my heart, for lack of better words. We appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. It was great seeing all of you. Denys, coming to us live from South Beach. What's up, my dude? How we doing?
Hey, well, how's it going? Hey, guys. Thank you for inviting me on your show again. I'm just happy, excited to hang out and kick it in with you guys.
So there's nothing Adam hates more than an origin story. So when you told me you wanted to talk about early beginnings, I thought, what better way to start off the episode? Tell us kind of where you came from, how you got to where you are. You know, I saw on LinkedIn you had like an interesting path to get to the founder of ADGENIX Media. So maybe don't give us all the steps and details, but an abbreviated version so that Adam doesn't lose his mind.
I'll try to keep it short and sweet. But yeah, basically rags to riches story, I guess. So I grew up in Ukraine, you know, very poor family, not like rich or anything, don't come from money. And then when I was 17, my family moved here to South Florida, actually. So, and I've been here for about probably like almost 20 years. But, you know, like, I mean, obviously moving here when you were 17 is like pretty, it's a sensitive age, you know, so when you move to a new country and you don't speak language, it's kind of tough to make friends. So
I was going to ask, was that like a crazy culture shock for you?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. But my biggest thing was actually to make as many American friends as I can, because a lot of people move here and they'll just sit in their circles, but I wanted to like literally integrate in the society. So my thing was to go out there and like learn the language, meet American friends, get an American job. So that's what I did basically, man. And I just jumped around from being a salesperson and manager at Nordstrom to being a business banker and ops manager in Bank of America for a few years. And that was like around the time when I actually came across affiliate marketing by pure accident. I just accidentally started running campaign and it accidentally started making money basically. And then one of my friends was like, oh, you're doing affiliate marketing. And I'm like, wait, it's an industry. And that's how I started learning about it. You know, being a solo affiliate, kind of like starting out and testing waters. Oftentimes you just fail, right? But, and I did fail for first, like probably 2 years of it. And then I ended up meeting a group of guys that ended up joining the team basically. And, you know, kind of started learning one thing after another and had some breakthroughs. One of the first ones was actually affiliate ecom. And it's pretty much a story from there. So like I've been a solo affiliate, I've been a part of the team, I have a team now. So that's kind of like the short and sweet story origin. But like the main reason why I quit Bank of America, it was not to start doing affiliate. It was actually because I kind of got sick of the corporate job, like 9 to 5. And I just did this self-sabotage thing where I just kind of like walked out and didn't say anything to anyone to literally self-sabotage myself so I never go back to a corporate world and, do something that actually makes me happy. And, taking chances, I think is a risk, but not taking chances is definitely a bigger risk. So it
I
paid
feel
off.
like there's a lot of people who are also sick of the corporate gig, right? 9 to 5. So as someone who's gone through it, speaking to someone watching this episode right now who wants to get into this industry and kind of rid themselves of that corporate structure, like what would be the first 2 or 3 steps you would suggest, maybe from your experience or from the mistakes you made that you wish you had known back then?
Yeah, I mean, for sure, there's a lot of things that I wouldn't do. Well, number one, I'd say save up some money and probably spend it wisely, and don't like, cause dude, when I was like first 2 years when I was trying to do it myself, I racked up like 50 grand in credit card debt. The good thing is the first good campaign I hit, I paid it off the same month. So it's it kind of like give and take, but I still wouldn't recommend anyone taking that path. Um, and starting, I would say, so more of the story is starting as a solo affiliate. It's probably the most expensive path that you can take. I think that, and you'll also like just burn out. I think just if you want to start off and just kind of like learn the ins and outs of it, just go join the team, find the team, reach out to them, and join the team, and media buy for them, and then from there on, you can spread your wings later. But that's going to be the probably most. It'll be a shortcut to success.
Adam and Harrison, you guys both started as solo affiliates, I believe, correct? And if
Yeah.
so, did you guys ever kind of join a team or were you like solo all the way?
No,
Yeah, it's
I
mostly
think,
solo.
yeah, like, my story is a little bit different than Dennis's, but the theme is basically the same. I had a business go under. I lost everything, moved back into my parents' basement. I had like 40, 50K in credit card debt and had to work my way out of it. So I was forced to find a solution. I was going down door to door in downtown Detroit in the winter. I literally had a hole in my shoe. I was too poor to buy new shoes. My parents would not buy things for me because I owed them money too. I had to give my paycheck to my mom. And so I sold phone service through Bulletproof Glass, cold call, commission only. And that was hell. And I did that for like 8 months. And then every day I came back after working 12 hours and tried to make money on the internet. And so for me, it was a do or die kind of situation. No college degree, no one would hire me, no work experience. I'm not a good employee. I'm not a submissive order following kind of person. It doesn't work. Um, and so I had no money and I had to figure out how to get traffic. And so I think, to Dennis's point, it's really hard if you're going to do paid media and start as an affiliate, where a lot of affiliates start and then they burn cash and they don't see a reward for that. And when you don't know anything about the industry, that's a really complicated thing to do. It's a really expensive thing to do. It's a really risky and scary thing to do. But when I started, and I think Harrison also thought this way, and you should talk about your version of this a sec, Harrison. Um, I had to find traffic that was cheap or free in unique ways to get it. And so I tried hundreds or thousands of different permutations to do it, but you'd be amazed what you can do by writing a blog post in a specific niche and then, getting some viral action to it or finding a way to get free traffic to it. And it takes a lot of creativity and a lot of trial and error. And I think that's where I cut my teeth. And then when I got into paid media, I failed miserably at first, but I understood how to do it. And so eventually I got very good at paid media and was able to spend very large sums of money profitably. And this was, my business for a long time. But I think the pressure of, just losing everything combined with not having any money and forcing me to get creative taught me the most valuable lessons in affiliate marketing. And so I encourage new affiliates to think that way as opposed to, oh, I'm going to buy an ad to a landing page and know nothing about any of it and think you're going to get a return on investment.
Harrison, You're up.
I mean, I think you said a lot. I think it's funny when I first started, and I've told this before, I was really naive and I figured that I could buy like 4 clicks on mesothelioma and make $1,000. But what I didn't know is that 4 clicks were going to cost me $1,200 and I was going to make zero. So, when I first got started, I like built websites and promoted them like with MySpace bulletins, and I would go and buy posts from people that had big pages, and I would have them promote my MySpace layout website.
What
Which,
does that what does that cost, by the way? Or what did it cost back then, I guess is a better question.
dude, like $50. Like this is
Yeah.
legit. Like I wasn't going for the big of the big. This wasn't like the huge. It was like people with like a couple 100,000 friends and stuff. Yeah, 50 to like $500. You get some real action, and then if you downloaded one of the layouts for your profile, there was a link in there. It would be like layout by this website or whatever, and you'd get clicks from that too. And then at this point, most of the money I was making was from like YPN, Yahoo Publisher Network, which like was so crazy because like Google would pay you like 22 cents a click, $4 CPM. And then for some odd reason, YPN's like algorithm was essentially meant to just like destroy their advertisers' budgets. So you'd go on my codes web, it was my-codes.net, I just remembered. And you'd go on this fucking shitty website and it'd be like MySpace layouts, like pink, like Lady Gaga, whatever. And then the ad would be like Skincare Institute of America, mesothelioma, like refinance your $80 million house. And I'm like, why am I getting $4.11 a click? And then I was crushing it. And then eventually YPN was like, we're terminating all these garbage websites. And I was included in that mass termination. And then I kind of like learned about like affiliate shit. And I tried like ringtones and stuff. And literally, yeah, like the first money that I made was from free traffic, so to speak. And then I kind of slowly learned in. And what's crazy is my first real successful campaigns were offers that paid under $10. Like email submits back in the day were really big for me. I made some, my first, I remember my first $40,000 day was with CPA Storm or something, and in Colorado, like some network, that existed, like they don't even exist anymore. And I picked up, and then dating and this, and I learned like it wasn't those high payout offers, and it was more like stuff that I could get a shitload of traffic to, and someone converts. So you kind of just take what you're thrown, and then again, you learn your lesson on that $1,200 payout offer. So
Funny you say that. The money that got me out of my parents' basement was all one fields. And the payouts on those for $1.25 to $1.65. And a lot of affiliates are scared of those kind of payouts, but in reality, they're really great.
Is that just an email
Yeah, it's just an email submit, right?
to get
Like
added to
people,
a list, basically?
well, it goes through a co-reg path, and the industry's changed a lot. Back then, you'd get paid on the conversion, and there wasn't as much scrubbing. Today, it's a bit of a different animal, but same concept. You're being paid on a specific action, which you're trying to get the user to take. In that case, it was to submit a one field. But to Harrison's point, even later in life, I worked on an e-com business, and paid media was hard, and I needed to build up reviews and an audience. And at the beginning, it was really tough. So I said to myself, like, how can I grow this business without spending a lot of money? Because I don't have a ton of inventory. And so if I'm going to make any money on paid ads, I need a lot of inventory, right? And like still working on manufacturing problems and like how we're going to do this. And it wasn't in fulfillment yet. And so I did the same thing Harrison did. And that is I reached out to a bunch of influencers on various social media platforms who had never done a sponsorship deal before. And not all of them reply, but I did it personally. And I've picked ones that had genuine followers. They weren't huge accounts, 15, 20,000 followers. And I would send them some free product and pay them for a review. The product was worth, retail was $100, $125, and I'd give them like $25. Some of them would do it for just the product, and they were geeked. And a lot of them were shitty. And, maybe you give them a coupon code and it had some sales. And then some of them actually did an incredible job, got sales, and then I was able to use that content later in paid media by cutting those videos and putting it in ads. And it's a way to test what audiences are going to vibe with the ads before, actually trying to run it with paid media. And so for like a couple $1,000s, I was able to generate significant amounts of revenue, 50, 75 grand. And then that was all high margin, like basically no cost, right? A 2 grand into 75 sale with really high margins on the product. It was fantastic. It was a lot of work. And so it wasn't really a repeatable process. But then I went and found pages that had the audiences I was looking for. And in this case, they were like wedding pages and things like that. And I reached out to those and paid them for a post. And then those posts failed. They didn't make any money. So instead, what I did was paid for a post for a contest to win free stuff if you reposted, tagged us, and put a hashtag in it. And what would happen is I'd pay 4 or 5 of these big pages in the categories I want to do that post, and I'd get thousands of entries into the contest. I'd give away the one thing, you'd get 10,000 followers, and then those people who didn't win, some of them would buy. And so we'd cover the entire cost of the promotion, make profit on it, get the followers, be able to market to them. People would go to the site, add their email to the list. And so being an affiliate isn't necessarily how do I spend money to make money. Being an affiliate is how do I find the money hack? Like, how do I find the angles and the ways to generate traffic where people aren't doing it before? How do I out mentally compete other people to make money on the internet? And that fundamentally is what an affiliate is. And the ones that think this way become very successful. I don't know Denys that well, but I'm sure he thinks this way. Because that's all the people who win think this way.
Actually happy you said that, the money hack part, because that's one of the things I actually wanted to talk about with you guys, like in this podcast. And it's just we'll get to it, but first let me just finish up my thought about the basically mistakes that I was making. So I mentioned a couple, but I think one of the biggest things, and this is something that a lot of guys that just starting, maybe they hit their best campaign, the really big campaign and stuff. I would say start building team. Like, so one of the things that was big for me is I did not start building team and learning how to be a leader instead of like kind of doing everything myself for like the first 3 years of affiliate stuff, and I just kind of like did it myself because I thought it was easier to do things yourself, but reality is going to burn yourself out. So whether you work with like in the team, with a bunch of other affiliates or just solo, I think it's very important to start hiring people and investing in that, and then investing in those people. And like with you guys, for example, like Adam, like I love what you did with like a book, coming out with a book, or the show or sponsoring the events. It's all attracts talent, right? Like, because people want to work for somebody they look up to. So, that's basically one of the things that I would recommend. Just start, whether you hire just a support person or video editor or whoever, just gonna start doing that sooner than later, and then also I think with like the part that goes into retaining good employees, because I've probably hired and fired 100+ people. And, one thing about retaining good employees is that many Rockstar employees, they run on their ego, right? So if you want them to stay, they need to feel like they're like you're invested in them. So they're like, you actually want to see them grow and you care about them performing well, So, and I think that's what makes them actually stick around for a while.
Yeah, if you guys
I
aren't
like that. I was just going to add one thing that I really like is, when what you guys both said, you got to throw a ton of shit at the wall to see what sticks and what's yielding, ROI. And there's been times where we've had stuff that's near break even or very low profit or break even, whatever. And, the analogy I'd use is you got to take what you got and squeeze as much out of that orange as you can. So an example that I just thought of back to those email submits is when I first started, I think I was getting paid like $1.50 or something for an email submit. And the first thing I did was I actually said, "Hey, what payout can you give me with 0 scrub?" And they looked at me like I was an idiot. And for the first couple days, told me, we don't scrub. Da, da, da. I'm like, bullshit. You pay $1.50 on an email submit, you're scrubbing, dude. And then they were like, look, we can give you like 80 cents. They said, but how about this? Your quality is actually pretty good. We'll give you 225 if you, or something like that, if you allow us to pay after the second page, which was like name, email, address, phone. And I tried it and my margins went up substantially. Um, and most people would do that. They assume it's going to kill the conversion rate. So like, just being willing to like really try anything you can to squeeze extra juice out of that orange will help you succeed when you're running campaigns as an affiliate. It doesn't matter what vertical too, just literally try to optimize any way, shape, or form,
Harrison, speaking for any of the newbies watching this episode, can you elevator pitch us on what scrubbing actually means?
Scrubbing doesn't exist. It's fake news. Don't know what you're talking about. No. So what I was going to say is scrubbing is simply, let's say I got an offer and the payout that I'm giving my network and, I'm giving my direct pubs $10 per lead. I'm going to use a lead gen offer just because it's easy. But let's say I want to pay Josh $15. So I'm going to pay Josh 15 and I'm just going to scrub 40% of the conversions off. So he's effectively getting paid like whatever, I'm going to pay him 9 effectively, right? I'm going to scrub 40%. So he gets 10 conversions, I'm going to pay him for 9, but he got paid 15 or whatever, whatever the number is, or sorry, if he got 10 conversion, I'm going to pay him for 4 or 6. Sorry, I'm going to pay him for 6 at $15. He's going to make $90. I essentially paid him $10 less than if I paid him $10. But Josh gets all excited because he has the highest payout on my windshield repair offer or whatever. And, Denys comes along and I'm like, hey, Denys, I'll give you $10. And he's generating pretty good traffic. I see his EPCs running. I'm like, I'm paying this guy too much money. I'm going to scrub him 20%. Now for every 10 conversions, it's random, so it might be off, whatever. I'm just keeping 2, not firing his pixel for those and just essentially, keeping the money. Now, I get it. I remember back in the day, I had an offer and it was like a neutral offer and, I couldn't compete because I was not being scrubbed. So I was getting paid $40. I wanted to take 15% margin. I'm like, hey, Denys, I'll give you 34. Denys is like, bro, this other network has the offer at 45. I'm like, okay, do me a favor. Send me 1,000 clicks, like not bullshit clicks, 1,000 clicks, send 1,000 clicks to the other offer. Let's look at our EPCs. And then we look and it's like Harrison converted 20% better. So this $45 payout is just bullshit. And with those email submit offers, it's not completely malicious. An example is they're not going to pay on dupes. So like if Adam got a conversion yesterday and I put my email in and then I see another Facebook ad for the same offer from Denys's affiliate links and I click it in my email, the advertiser's like, no, we're not paying another dollar, whatever for this, right? And so, there's just aggressive being shitty scrubbing. And then there's scrubbing that I wouldn't say is quote unquote justified, but I'd say there's reasoning behind the payout, if that makes sense.
And a lot of affiliates are not sophisticated enough to handle this in their IOs and contracts. So they just sign whatever the networks give them, which is a mistake. And I remember one of my largest campaigns was an education campaign, and I think I was getting paid like $12. Everyone else was fighting for more, like 17, 18. And I just laughed because I knew that I was getting a no scrub payout, which just allows me to actually media buy more effectively, because I want more pixel fires going into the traffic sources. And so when you have a no scrub payout, it's less money, but you get more pixel fires, so the algorithm will optimize better. And then in the end, you win. This is why Harrison and I, when we were affiliates and partners being affiliates, and we had a team, but we always were looking for rev share deals. And we would try and negotiate as high a rev share as possible. We would figure out what the rev share was on the CPA, basically. You just do the math. Your rep will probably tell you. And then we would want to go back in and negotiate a higher rev share. And the companies like that because it removes all their risk. And then it pushes you to deliver higher quality. One of the campaigns that was the biggest for Harrison and I, we had a straight rev share deal. And it was amazing. And we made a lot of money. But we had to deliver the quality they were looking for. And so we really had to truly understand the mind of the consumer and how everything worked. Now, this is why I love pay per call, because there is no scrubbing. you can't scrub a phone call. Like if the affiliate has their own tracking, which if you don't, you shouldn't be running calls. Like running calls to a network's phone number is just stupid. Okay. Don't even use my shit. Just like use something. Because if you do, it can't be scrubbed. Because you have the recording, you have the call record, you know who called in. It's not like they can not fire the pixel. Like you have the data. And that's the beautiful thing about a call is you have all of this data as an affiliate, so you know what's happening, you know you're going to get paid for it. There's no confusion. Whereas if you're running a campaign on a network that you're getting paid for, let's say, lead gen CPA, they can just scrub you. And there's really no way for you to understand or know because they're not giving you the leads. You're not collecting the leads. You're driving traffic to a landing page, and then your pixel fires after the submission of the form. Same with even a trial or a sale or anything like that. It's all pixel driven conversions. And sometimes they'll call it breakage, right? Like, oh, the pixel broke 6% of the time. But they can, like, there's no way for you to truly know because you're not getting the consumer data. So that's why we're big fans of calls. I think it keeps everybody honest. It is a different business. You can make a ton of money in lead gen and clicks and sale and all that, but you really need to understand how the networks operate. You know, if they're going to give you CRM access to see the actual sales, there's so many details you have to pay attention to that a new affiliate that knows nothing about this, they're going to go and try and media buy, wonder why it doesn't work, wonder why they can't compete. And it has nothing to do with the media buying, and it's all business development and understanding the industry. So,
Yeah, man, that's big facts actually, because I feel that marketing boils down to arbitraging CPC and EPC basically, So what you're paying, what you're per click, what you're basically earning per click, right? Because a lot of people will, and starting off like early on, I was like, oh, higher payout, yes, let's go. And in reality of things, it's not always the case, because what you really have to be looking at is EPCs and compare them between like different networks that you run with, or offer owners, or offers, or whatever. And this way you can kind of gauge like which ones actually pays more. And then also, one of the things I still do to this day is I'll go and compare how many clicks I send to the network versus what shows on my tracker, and then what shows on their platform, just to make sure that that stuff is in line. Because sometimes some networks can share clicks sometimes. I don't know if it's still a thing, but yeah.
So I have a question for you, Denys. As we're kind of making our way into 2025 here. I know a lot of the verticals that you focus on are calls, leads, e-com, stuff like that. So for 2025 specifically, which of those do you think is the best to focus on? And then if we're diving into each one of those, like which niches within each vertical do you think is going to yield the most success for maybe a newbie, maybe an industry veteran, if there is, any kind of separation based on who is actually doing it?
So yeah, good question. So there's obviously pros and cons in every vertical, I think, and every whatever you like run calls, leads, or e-com, or whatever. But for somebody like, for example, beginners who are starting off, calls, I really like calls. I'll be honest, I don't run a lot of calls, but I think it's a great segue to actually move from affiliate arbitrage to building an actual company, and kind of like if you work direct with buyers and sending them calls, then it's an asset in itself, the contract with them. A lot of my good friends, they build out agencies, and, it's a beautiful thing. So, a lead gen or lead forms, it boils down to calls also in essence, because when a person goes through the funnel, they kind of end up on call now, right button at the end. So most of the time, and, that would be more like, again, same inbound call there. But as far as like the verticals, I think that, obviously I don't want to mention auto insurance because it's like a buzzword now. But, for somebody starting off, for example, I think death is a great vertical. It's evergreen. It's been around since as long as I remember. If you drive good quality, I think it's definitely a no-brainer.
Can I ask a quick question? Not to
yeah.
cut you off, but why is auto insurance kind of a buzzword now?
So, okay. I don't know, but like everyone that I spoke to is like, it sounds like everyone's running auto insurance right now. It's honestly kind of like mind blowing to me. It's like 5 years ago, it was the same thing. Like everyone was running auto insurance too, and everyone's making money scaling it. And then, I don't know, something happened and just went away, right? For a little bit. But that has always been there, it's that the only problem is that you probably run into cap issues, so it's not easy to scale. But as long as you're running good quality and consistently, then you definitely could scale. And I think also refi is going to make a comeback at the end of this year. Once the rates go down, I think that's going to be a big opportunity because everyone kind of forgot about it at this point. I ran a ton of refi back in like 2021, I think, or something like
I
that,
was gonna
2020.
say that's like when I refied
Best
my
of the
house too.
best.
Yeah.
And what's interesting to me is like there's not the one that I know of. There is no refi poll offers. We always remember like refi lead offers, like lead gen offers, like fill out the form. But I can't think of any like networks or offers that you can just send direct inbound calls to refi offer or something. So that'll be an interesting opportunity there for sure. Um,
On the auto
uh,
insurance, the reason that the budgets were pulled was because of the reimbursement rates, claim rates, and everything that happens with COVID. And
mhm.
so no one was driving, so the auto insurers cut rates to compete to get business. And then when everyone started going back to work, the accidents went up, the cost of parts skyrocketed, and so the claims were way more expensive. So the auto insurers basically pulled back their marketing budgets until they figured out all the math on what it was going to be going forward. And we've seen a resurgence in automotive. That's why
Mhm.
everyone's talking about it. A lot of the big insurers have drastically increased their budgets across clicks, leads, and calls, frankly. And affiliates are going after those budgets. To be clear, anytime you go into a space like that with that much budget and competition, though, as a new affiliate, you're going to need a bankroll. You're going to make a lot of mistakes, and you have no competitive advantage against someone who's been doing this a long time, has relationships, and all those things. Like running through a network is not really an exciting opportunity to me if I'm new and I want to run auto insurance, right? Like working directly with Geico, sure, but you're not going to get that deal new. And so I like debt. I think debt's evergreen, like you said. And even more so, I would be thinking about smaller verticals that are obscure, not exciting, where there aren't a lot of people, and you can get really creative with the marketing. And those are the type of opportunities I love. For instance, Harrison, I took a picture of a yard sign on a street corner the other day because I liked it, and I ran the number, and it was ours. And I went and I looked at the customer, and they're not a big customer. They don't run a ton of calls. They're not, doing $1 million a month. They're probably
Doing
doing,
sweat labor. They're literally driving around fucking putting stakes in the ground. That's G, dude. I
yeah,
respect that.
and it's only in one geographic area, so I really think it's them. And I think they're doing about like 8,000 a month in revenue or something. I don't remember the exact number,
They're building a
but
business and they're literally putting sweat into it. That's fucking
yeah,
that's when they get a goat, that's cool.
yeah.
Because
And
they're
so
getting a goat one.
they're not getting rich over there. But when you're a new affiliate, the goal isn't to get rich. It's to think about that, sure, but it's to figure out profitable ways to drive traffic or calls or leads or clicks. And then once you have some traction, you can take that money and continue to invest it in your business. So when I see people post about things like garage door repair and like, mosquito spraying or, porta potty rental or driveway sealing or some like nonsense that is not exciting, that isn't like super high volume. Those are the things I would want to look at as a new affiliate with no bankroll. I would try and go corner a small market like these people did, where you're making 5 grand a month in profit, and then, get to a point where you can start to replicate these types of campaigns small scale that are highly profitable. Now, the thing about this one's interesting because the yard signs are going to get pulled up or blown away or whatever. They're going to have to keep doing it. But if they remain successful in this, they have no competition and it's very high margin for them. So they just need to think about scaling and they can do it at their own pace. If you're going to go do auto insurance, media buying on Facebook, your ad's going to burn out, and you're going to need a creative team. You're going to need to be running hundreds of ads constantly and testing and doing, like, it's a really big process with a lot of cost and a lot of work. And so, affiliates always look for shiny objects. They always ask me, hey, what vertical should I get into? And the answer is always the same. It's go where the people aren't, go where the opportunities are smaller because they're higher margin, and go to places where creativity trumps media spend. And that's how you win when you don't have a lot of money or you're new.
So Denys, this actually leads perfectly into my next question for you.
Yeah.
Move away from verticals. Let's talk about strategies for this upcoming year. Media buying versus creatives, or, the synergy between them, like Adam was kind of recently talking about just a second ago. What are your, personally top strategies that you try to focus on, or that you think people will find the most success from doing?
Yeah, man. So there's two things about that. So I'll get into strategies in a second, but so like last year around like summer, there was just so many affiliates that were saying like, oh, Facebook is broken and things aren't working. It's just a lot of like, it wasn't the best year for a lot of people, I guess. But the reality is that the costs are going up year over year, right? For like right now versus like the cost on Facebook for even auto insurance, probably like 3 times more, doubled, tripled from like 5 years ago, and the payouts are still like $9, $11, $12, so it's not very proportional. So that brings me to another point, kind of like what Adam mentioned. So number one thing that you can do, of course, is go set up, more private deals or work with like offer owners directly, which is a little bit harder because the big guy is probably not gonna want to talk to a new affiliate. But another thing that you can do is basically take your knowledge and apply it outside of the industry box. So what I mean by that is that, for example, like if you go to ASW or any like lead gen world, all the offers and networks you're gonna find is something that's probably everyone already knows about it. Everyone's running it. People know how much to pay. People know approximately how much you're making. So there's not a lot of opportunity to maximize profits. But for example, if you go to and let's say you look up conferences in your city, right, for different things. Let's just say like lawn care, right? I know it doesn't sound like sexy at all, but it could be potentially a big opportunity because it's a $60 billion a year business in US. And there's a lot of big companies, right? Now, they're probably using an advertising firm that they pay like 20% of ad spend and fronting their own budgets, basically, right? And they may not even know that they could get paid on PPC basis, like pay-per-call basis, or leads. So if you go to those conferences, you could probably find new opportunities, basically, that's not offered, that you're not going to find at ASW, for example, or Legion World. And you can probably ask, those people like, hey, like, what's your customer worth to you, to find out where their CPA is, right? And then from there, you can derive what you basically could dictate your own payout that way, So while all the offers that are out there right now, offer owners already know, the sweet spot. These people may not know what the CPA sweet spot is, So you can actually edge more on. You basically can get more profit on your side, and squeeze out basically that way. So even with traffic costs going up, you can use strategies to minimize your traffic cost, which is for me, it's one of the things is like even simple things like a preloading engagement or manual bidding strategies, things like that, basically. Or you can maximize your payouts, and you do that by finding this kind of like opportunities outside of the business, outside of the what's basically thrown in your face, at any conference. And I think that's probably even like if you are a good biz dev, and not shy, which you probably shouldn't be if you're running a business, then I think that would be a good opportunity for you to get out there basically and find something, and kind of like what Adam said, doesn't have to be sexy, but it's not being basically exploited by affiliates, and then just kind of be the first one in that vertical.
It's interesting, Dennis. I went out to dinner with someone who's been in the industry a really long time last night, and he mentioned to me that affiliates don't generally ever build a business. And the really, really smart ones have a small team of a couple people, and they never really build anything incredible. And I think there's some limiting beliefs there, but also media buying is not the most valuable skill in affiliate marketing. The most valuable skill in affiliate marketing is leadership. It's the soft skills to understand how to build a business, to keep yourself in a place where you have enough humility that you're willing to go ask people who've been doing it longer questions and then listen. And that's actually a really rare thing. A lot of the questions I get asked by industry people are frankly annoying. You don't need to ask me those questions. You're just looking for a shortcut. These are not the questions that you should ask me. Introduce me to some buyers, bro. Happens every time. But what was interesting at this affiliate summit is there were a lot of people that showed up who read my book that had never been to an affiliate summit before. And those folks asked some really interesting questions because they're not thinking like affiliates, they're thinking like business people. And I really loved those conversations. They were actually my favorite. We talked about marketing the least. Those people recognize that that's their problem. I don't do marketing. I don't run calls. I can't, I don't know today's tactics. But they asked me a lot of business related questions, like how do you structure your teams? How could I recruit some people when I get to the place where I need to go? What are some of the red flags to look out for? And I had one entrepreneur come up to me at the exhibit hall. He waited till day 3, and he asked me only questions about how we built Ringba and how we lead our teams, what we thought about the future, and things like that. And those questions are super rare. And so I encourage affiliates to start thinking not as affiliates. I understand you want a Lambo and the club is fun. Okay. I went to Cascade, saw at Live the other night. I'm into it. I didn't drink, but I was there. But you can do those things and want those things and still think like a business person. And leadership and those soft business skills are really how you can build something that's valuable for the long term, that you can sell, that you can change your life with. And so, I'm getting older, like a dinosaur in this industry. This was my 20th affiliate summit. And, I think for me personally, it's important to talk about these things and then figure out how to give back and instruct affiliates. You can build an incredible business in this industry. You just have to put the time in and conduct yourself in a specific way and start thinking that way. So I'm really excited for the new people that came in. A lot of these young kids and new people are really, really sharp in a way that I haven't seen before. And then the ones that are thinking not like affiliates, I think they have the potential to build some incredible businesses. So
it
I'm
seems
really
like there's
excited.
been a mindset shift in this industry over the past 2 to 3 years, where it went from just turn and burn, print and shit, whatever you want to call it, print money and blow some shit up, to let's reel it in a little bit. Let's actually be adults and build a business, and it's cool to see.
Three quick.
That shift definitely happened thanks to calls. I'll tell you that much. I've seen it. I've seen all the guys go from, kind of being all fun and games to building businesses and opening up their own agencies and taking things serious, and then selling their companies for tens of hundreds of millions of dollars. So yeah, absolutely, and most of them is because of calls, because of PPC, because it's working directly with the whatever, whether it's call center or offer owner or whatever, and it's the communication is better that way, and it's another thing. I think it's not a big way to maximize, I guess, your profitability is working directly, and communicating, having a good communication, a good relationship with your vendors. That's definitely something, because then you can find together middle ground and make money for each other, as opposed to, just how like a lot of people come in like the rip and run, and they just burn through it and burn through campaigns, and that's it. It's not a business.
Yeah, your most valuable asset is your reputation in the industry. And that reputation is based on trust. Very simple things. You do what you say you're going to do. If there's a problem, you handle it like an adult. If you make a mistake or push the envelope and it's an issue, sometimes you eat it financially. And to preserve a relationship, sometimes you eat shit even when it's not your fault. And
We've
those
been
are
there
the principles. Yeah, Harrison and I are willing to do it. We do it all
countless
the time.
times.
I mean, we're dealing with one right now where Harrison and I are likely going to eat $125,000. Now, do I want to? No, I want the money.
It won't be
But
that bad. I've been working on it, but
no,
that
I
was the
know,
worst
but
hit.
the reality is
week to clean up the shit.
no, I know, but the reality is we don't have to do it. But we want to work with people so that they can be successful long term and find a middle ground and a common ground that
And
strengthens
we only
our
have one
relationships.
reputation. And
Yeah.
so you gotta remember that, even if you gotta bite the bullet a little bit sometimes. In this situation, some bullet biting is happening.
Yeah. And look, it's not the end of the world, and we want to see people successful. And so if you approach it from that mindset where you're like, I want everyone I'm working with to be more successful because of me, then you think more long term, and then you're able to do something really great. And then people trust you and they're willing to do business with you because you're predictable and consistent, right? Like you do business with Harrison and I, you know what you're going to get. We do what we say we're going to do. We're available. We go to all the shows. If there's a problem, it's easy to find us. And we're reasonable human beings that have failed and lost everything before. And so we know what it's like to be an entrepreneur and to struggle. And we have empathy for that. We don't let people take advantage of us. Like our kindness is not weakness, but we're entrepreneurs and we understand it. We want to build long-term relationships, and it's something we've worked very hard together on to do. And if people in our industry can think that way, they can build incredible businesses like we have and like a bunch of our friends have. And all of our friends that have really big businesses in the industry that are entrepreneurs, they think this way. If I had a problem, I know I could call them. It might not be great,
Sure.
but we'll sort it out and then we'll move forward because we think long term.
3 quick things here. Shout out to the guy walking around on day 3 of Affiliate Summit and going around and asking important questions. Big ups to you. Second of all, Adam also made an appearance, his first appearance at the affiliate ball at this Las Vegas show, and he proceeded to buy 100 shots of tequila, walked around, handed them out to everybody, and doesn't drink, didn't take one himself. And third of all, Harrison, correct me if I'm wrong, but are your dog's ears pink?
Yes, I did. Hold on, let me just show the
Okay.
show. Nala, come here.
While he's getting the
Yeah.
dogs, Dennis, how come you never fly with us to Vegas or other shows?
Yes,
So
her
you know
her,
what?
no, her tail too
Oh my
is
God.
pink.
Wait, keep
She's going
talking
in
so
for a
the
touch-up this week.
yeah, was that your idea?
I'm exhibiting my masculine traits by
Yeah.
dyeing my dog's hair pink.
Dennis, yeah, more importantly, why don't you fly with the Ringba guys? It seems personal at this point.
No,
Like, that's great.
yeah, right.
We
Yeah,
see
but
how it is,
no,
Boris. You prefer
I-
JetBlue over Gulfstream?
No, I just saw this affiliate conference is probably the first like ASW I actually didn't go to because I just been there too many times, and again, like it's the same thing, and big part of it also just kind of like switched to healthier lifestyle, like last year. So I'm trying to, not party as much, basically.
You
But,
know,
yeah, no.
you don't have to drink when you go out to party. I just want to
Did
say,
you know, Dennis? I was pounding Fiji waters on the flight, double fisting,
yeah, like
and we
I
had
go
protein
out pretty
shakes on one of the
regularly.
flights.
No alcohol. It's really nice. Like it's good.
Yeah,
It
And then
takes
when you
some,
don't drink, you work out when you travel. Like this morning, I was in the gym and then I called the front desk and asked them if they had any heavier weights, to which they laughed.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Only
What?
you.
They only go
Only
up
you.
to 50-pound dumbbells, bro. That shit's not gonna work for me. I literally called. I was like,
I'm
you
pretty
guys got
sure you
anything?
knew they didn't have any heavier weights, but you wanted to
You never
experience.
know. Maybe they could go get some. Look, you might be surprised what a nice hotel will do. You want to give them a
Yeah,
chance.
it's true. Dennis, I think one more topic here is a great way to wrap up this episode of the show. Sticking on the theme of 2025, what are some of your personal?
Josh, hold
Oh,
on a
sure.
second.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like there's literally a refrigerator right here because the mini bar didn't get cold enough for me. So I called the front desk and they brought me a refrigerator. So honestly, okay, like maybe they had
Yes.
some heavier
I
fucking
see.
weights.
I see where you're coming from now. Dennis, speaking of mini fridges, what are some of your goals and visions for 2025? And, I'd be interested to hear this from a professional business perspective, but also like a personal Denys Gonchar perspective as well.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's a few things. I mean, I will sit down and like write down goals and kind of like strategize for the year and things that I want to accomplish and kind of like keep them in my face throughout the year so I stay on track. But one of the few big things, well, one of them is probably getting into calls and expanding on that a little bit so I can fly with you guys. So second, so right now, one of the things is that I really kind of want to solidify in my company is finding a solid COO and ops managers that can kind of run day-to-day operation and all the employees and, still have common sense and be a good person, be a rock star and stick around for a while. And the main reason why is because I kind of want to not necessarily step away from this business, but kind of open up a capacity for other ventures. So like one of the big goals of mine for this year is break into app subscription business because I think the subscription business model is just amazing. The multiples on the companies are amazing. And, subscription app business, it's not like you're shipping something, there's no physical product. It's basically SaaS on your phone. And it's simple and it's, we know how to market it. That's the best part, so I can apply my knowledge there as long as it's like a great idea or maybe not even that great of an idea, as long as you know how to market it, it's, it could be very lucrative and take it to the next level.
That's the correct answer right there. When I worked on the technology committee for Tech Coast Angels, which is the largest angel investment group in the country, I looked at a ton of deals and there weren't a lot of tech people there. So I reviewed all of them. And most of these companies could not answer the question, how are you going to sell your product? What's interesting about that is the investors are all like, no, you make the product, figure out how to sell it later. And 99 point something % of startups fail. And the reason they fail is because they don't sell their shit. And so the correct way is to figure out how you're going to sell it, whether the product's finished good or not, whatever. And then the product, right? Because if you can sell it, good, bad, otherwise, doesn't matter how crappy your business is or if you have bad people or whatever. Like, it doesn't matter. If you can ring the register, you can solve all the other problems. But if you can't ring the register, no other problems need solving.
When I lived in San Francisco, I've met many companies that had quote unquote startups and they had an idea for a product, but no idea for revenue. And I'm just going to say that that's probably not going to work out.
Well, Dennis, I want to thank you on behalf of all of us for joining the Affiliate Marketing Show. For myself, Josh from OfferVault, Adam Young, Mr. Paper Call, as well as the industry legend Harrison Gevirtz, and our special guest Denys Gonchar, founder and CEO of ADGENIX Media. Let's make that paper. Let's make that dough. This was the Affiliate Marketing Show. We will see you next time.